and welcome back. This is part 2 on calculating the perimeter of an equilateral triangle, and in this session we are working with an expression. So if you're ready, let's get started. So today we are going to be calculating the measure of our unknown side when we're given the perimeter. So in this case, instead of adding up our sides to find out what our perimeter is, the perimeter is already given to us. Now here's what you need to remember with an equilateral triangle. Remember that in an equilateral triangle, all three sides are equal. And in some cases, like the first video that I did on calculating the perimeter of an equilateral triangle, sometimes all three of the sides are written in. But in this example, we're only given one side, and you must remember that with an equilateral triangle, all three of the sides are equal to the same length. So if this side is d plus 1, that means the other two sides of my triangle will also equal to d plus 1. So I'm going to be adding that expression 3 times. And remember that you can also work this out another way if you are probably a little bit more skilled with working with your algebra. Remember that in multiplying 3 times d plus 1, you will also be able to arrive at the same thing, where you will be applying your distributive property, which will tell you that d will be multiplied to 3 and 3 will be multiplied to 1, which will equal to 3d plus 3. But again, if you didn't see that, or you're not, that didn't come to you right away, this approach never fails. Remember, the basics can never steer you wrong once you remember them. So when calculating our like terms, we have d, d, and d, and we know that when d is added to itself 3 times, that will equal to 3d, and then 1 plus 1 will give us 2, and 2 plus 1 will give us 3. I remember that our perimeter is 36, so all of this is equal to 36. So now we're going to move into our two-step equation rules. We're going to begin collecting our like terms, and we have 36 and 3 that are alike. So I'm going to be subtracting my 3 from 36. And when 36 subtracts 3, we will be left with 33. And now we will be dividing both sides of our equation by 3. Remember that in calculating, you may not be good at following the steps the exact same way that I have them worked, but remember that when you work through these type of equation, even if you are not following my steps the way that I am, just show you're working to justify your answer as you work through the question. Remember that, some of us process information differently. You may have just done all of the rough work at the side and then came back and plug in your answer, but whatever approach you decide to take, just make sure that your working is shown to justify the answer that you arrive at. So here we're dividing 3 into 3, which will equal to 1, and this will leave us with D. And then on the right hand side, I'm also going to be dividing both sides of both my numerator and my denominator by 3. And 3 divides into 33 11 times. 3 will divide into itself once. So that means that for this equation, my D is equal to 11 meters. Okay, so now we still have a final step that we need to work through. Remember that the main goal of our question was to calculate the length of our sides when we are given the perimeter, and we said that D is equal to 11. So if our D is equal to 11 meters, that means in solving my expression D plus 1, that means I will have 11 plus 1, which will equal to 12 meters. So according to the calculations that I have, I'm saying that each side of my triangle is equal to 12 meters. I remember that luckily, because we know what the perimeter is, we can always check this answer. So to check my answer, I'm going to take my 12 and multiply by 3. We know that 12 times 3 is equal to 36. So that means that my my solution of 11 meters is the correct answer for this question. Okay, so I hope this was very helpful. I hope you were able to follow my steps and work through this question without any problems. Remember to make sure leave a thumbs up, give me a like, give me any feedback that you may have, or even if you have any questions pertaining to working through this question, make sure that you leave a comment below and I will be sure to respond to your question. Okay, and until next time, this is Jules Math Tools, where we make math easy.